single dad helps a woman choking in a restaurant. What happens days later leaves him speechless. Marcus had no idea that a simple Tuesday night dinner would change his life forever. All he wanted was to give his 8-year-old daughter Emma one nice meal out, a rare treat on his tight budget. But when a stranger at the next table started gasping for air, he didn't hesitate. What happened because of that split-second decision would restore his faith in humanity in ways he never imagined. Sometimes the smallest acts of courage create ripples we can't predict, and sometimes kindness finds its way back to us when we need it most. Before we dive into this incredible true story, please take a moment to subscribe to Heartfelt Moments, hit that like button, and drop a comment below telling us about a time when someone's kindness changed your day. Your stories inspire us to keep sharing these powerful moments. Now, let's get into what happened to Marcus. Marcus Williams had been raising Emma alone for 3 years, ever since his wife passed away from cancer. Life as a single dad wasn't easy. He worked 2 jobs, one at a warehouse during the day, and another doing delivery routes on weekends, just to keep their small apartment and put food on the table. Most nights, dinner was mac and cheese or sandwiches at their tiny kitchen table, but Emma had just brought home straight A's on her report card, and Marcus wanted to celebrate the only way he could afford to. He took her to Rosie's Diner, a modest family restaurant on the edge of town. They sat in a worn vinyl booth by the window. Emma ordered chicken fingers with a huge smile on her face, and Marcus got the meatloaf special. The diner was moderately busy that Tuesday evening, filled with the comfortable hum of conversation and the clinking of silverware. At the table next to them sat an older woman, maybe in her late 60s, dining alone. She had kind eyes and had smiled warmly at Emma when they first sat down. Marcus and Emma were halfway through their meal when he heard a strange sound, a desperate, strangled gasp. He looked over and saw the woman clutching her throat, her face turning red, then purple. Her eyes were wide with panic. The other diners hadn't noticed yet, too absorbed in their own conversations. Marcus didn't think. He just moved. He'd learned the Heimlich maneuver years ago in a workplace safety course, never imagining he'd actually use it. He jumped up and reached the woman in 3 quick steps. "I'm going to help you," he said firmly. He positioned himself behind her chair and wrapped his arms around her midsection. 1 thrust, 2 thrusts, and on the 3rd, a piece of steak dislodged from her throat and flew across the table. The woman gasped, drawing in a deep, beautiful breath of air. The diner erupted in relieved chatter. Someone called out asking if they should call an ambulance, but the woman shook her head, tears streaming down her face. She turned to Marcus, still coughing slightly, and grabbed his hand. "You saved my life," she whispered hoarsely. "Thank you. Thank you so much." Marcus felt embarrassed by the attention. "It's okay, really. I'm just glad you're all right," he said quietly. Emma had come over and was holding onto his arm, her eyes wide. The manager of the diner came over and insisted their meal was on the house. Marcus tried to refuse, but the manager wouldn't hear it. The woman whose life he'd saved introduced herself as Margaret. She tried to get his contact information, wanting to properly thank him later, but Marcus waved it off. "No need," he said. "Just take care of yourself, okay?" He and Emma finished their meal quickly, both a little shaken by the intensity of what had just happened, and headed home. Marcus thought about that night a few times over the following days, hoping the woman was truly okay. But then life swept him back into his exhausting routine, work, Emma's school, bills piling up on the counter. He was particularly stressed that week because his car had broken down, and the repair estimate was $800 he simply didn't have. He'd been taking the bus to work, adding an extra hour to his already long commute each way. 4 days after the incident at the diner, Marcus came home from work to find Emma waiting by the door with a strange expression on her face. "Dad, there's someone here to see you," she said. Marcus felt a spike of worry. Had something happened? Was it a problem with rent? Standing in the hallway outside their apartment was Margaret, the woman from the restaurant, along with a younger man in a business suit. "Marcus," Margaret said warmly, her eyes bright. "I hope you don't mind. I had to track you down. The diner manager remembered your daughter's name and, well, I'm persistent when I need to be." Marcus was confused but invited them in. His apartment was small and modest, but it was clean. Emma's artwork covered the refrigerator. Margaret sat down and took his hand. Marcus, you saved my life, and I've learned over the years that when someone does something that profound, you don't just say thank you and walk away, you act. The man in the suit introduced himself as Margaret's son, David. He explained that Margaret was a retired businesswoman who had sold her successful company 5 years earlier. My mother's always believed in paying kindness forward, David said, when she told me what you did, and when we learned a little about your situation, we knew we wanted to help. Margaret pulled out an envelope and handed it to Marcus. Inside was a check for $25,000. Marcus stared at it, unable to speak. His hands started shaking. I can't, he finally stammered. This is too much. I can't accept this. You can, and you will, Margaret said firmly, but with warmth in her voice. You didn't hesitate to help a stranger. You asked for nothing in return. This isn't charity, Marcus. This is gratitude. Use it to fix your car, catch up on bills, maybe take Emma somewhere special. You deserve a break from just surviving. Tears rolled down Marcus's cheeks. He thought of all the nights he'd lain awake worrying about money, about giving Emma the life she deserved. I don't know what to say, he whispered. Say you'll accept it, Margaret replied, and say that someday when you see someone who needs help, you'll be there for them too. That's how kindness grows. That's how we change the world, one person at a time. Marcus's story reminds us that kindness is never wasted. When we help others without expecting anything in return, we create a chain reaction of goodness that can come back to us in unexpected ways. But more importantly, we become part of something bigger than ourselves. We become proof that humanity, at its core, is good. So today, look for your opportunity. Hold a door. Offer a smile. Help a stranger. You never know how far that kindness will travel, or how it might change both your life and theirs. Thanks for watching Heartfelt Moments. Until next time, keep spreading love.